Let me get the live going on Instagram. Give me one moment. Let's see. Welcome to Rising Rituals with Ray. There we go. Boom. Going live. All right, so let me ask you something. Are you in control of your emotions, or are your emotions in control of you? That is the question of the day. Um, we're going to talk and we're going to dive deep into emotional intelligence today. So I'm really excited. But before that, welcome to Rising Rituals with Ray, where basically the whole purpose of this segment is to give you a little juice, give you a little energy, give you a little mindset shift to bring into your day. So if you are, starting off your day, 9 times out of 10 people start their day with their phone, and that's a total Russian roulette. Like, you start your day with your phone, it could be good news, it could be bad news, anything could happen. So this is a little opportunity for you to take control over your day energetically. So what we're talking about today, we're talking about emotional intelligence. I'm really excited about this because I just created this new framework to keep you in alignment when it comes to your emotional intelligence. So first off, let's define what is emotional intelligence. According to the Webster definition, it is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. So let's break that down. Let's break it down a little bit. So first of all, the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, right? So there's a lot of times, and I'll give you an example. When emotions are super high, it is kind of hard to step into that space of understanding. It's hard to bring you back to awareness of what's going on because your emotions are moving, right? Emotions are energy in motion. Your emotions are so high and you feel this energy just pulsating through you. So, I'll give you an example. One of my favorite stories to tell about my past, about my story, this was like part of my awakening, was when in 2017, when I was living in Las Vegas and I ended up starting my first LLC. And it was just like a series of unfortunate events. Like, a lot of things happened back to back to back to me. And so, like, you ever get your mastery tested? I feel like whenever your mastery gets tested, oh, we got lights moving in the back. Whenever your mastery gets tested, I feel as though, like, it's one thing after another. And you might pass the first couple of tests, but it's like, how long can you keep that going? And I feel like the universe continues to bring that to you. So that's what was happening to me in 2017. But what's amazing about those moments is on the other side is this huge major breakthrough. But it's hard to see that in the moment. So what happened was I had first started my first LLC called Tico Properties. And I want to say like a couple weeks after that, I was a victim of fraud and my account was completely cleaned out. I had like 3 months worth of savings like to live off of. My account was completely cleaned out. And then after that, I was in a car accident and it wasn't even my fault. I was sitting at a red light. The light had just turned green and some kid did not stop and just slammed into the back of my car. And so it completely totaled my car. So that, and I like had to have a doctor come to my house. It was a lot going on. And so in that situation, what ended up happening was I kept getting eviction notices because, I had my money saved up, but that was taken. Now my car is completely totaled and you got to wait for the process of that to go through. I couldn't continue with my business. So in that moment of like stress and fear and distress, I ended up calling my dad, and I was like a couple of weeks away from getting kicked out of my apartment. And so I called my dad, and we had a strained relationship at the time. And I just remember him like kind of brushing me off. And in that moment, I was just so mad because at that point I was at my breaking point. You ever feel that? Drop a me in the comments if you've ever been to a moment where you're just at your breaking point. And so I was angry with him for probably a few months after that. But going through that situation, it taught me that you can't blame someone else for not coming to your rescue. And honestly, whatever someone else is doing has nothing to do with you. Whether if they help you or not, whether if they're responsible or not, it has nothing to do with you. You have every capability to get yourself in and out of any situation, right? So I feel like we often throw the responsibility on someone else in order for them, like, oh, well, you betrayed me, or, I'm your XYZ, I'm your wife or your husband or your daughter or your mother, you're supposed to treat me this way, right? And having that level of expectations of other people is what sets you up for disappointment. So in situations, even when your back is against the wall, you have to realize, like, you are the key. You are the key. You get yourself out of these situations. You get yourself into these situations, right? And so that was something that I had to realize. Like, this was a high level of emotion for me, but I had to realize, like, okay, nobody is coming to save me. I have to do this. So I came up with this um, framework for emotional intelligence to get yourself out of that high emotional state, because there's only two states. There is either a serving state or an unserving state. So a high peak state or a low state. There are only two states in life. Either the state you're in is productive and it is going to help you move forward, or it is hindering you in that process, right? There's only two. So when your emotions begin to take control and take over you, remember your vowels. Your vowels, right? What do you mean? Your vowels. A-E-I-O-U, right? A, awareness. First of all, bring awareness to why you feel the way that you feel. Oh my God, I have another story. Real quick. I was working for FedEx, and literally everything was going wrong. Like, this was supposed to be my day off, and I'm in the process of, like, building a business and working for FedEx. And I don't know if y'all know anything about people who work for FedEx, but it is not an 8-hour gig. It is like you show up and you leave when you're done delivering all your packages. It could be 8 hours, could be 10 hours, could be 12 hours. As long as you're home by the time it gets dark, you're good to go. So I had, like, meetings set up that day, and this was the one day that I told them, okay, do not schedule me on Thursdays. If y'all know anything about Thursdays, that's Cosmic Convos, and that's when I was working. And so I would schedule all of my meetings and all the things that I needed to do regarding my business for Thursday. So I had to reschedule like 3 or 4 different meetings. And because they called me in one day, and when I say they called me 7 times. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, and you ever just wake up, and this is what I'm talking about, when you wake up and check your phone, right? I knew better. I knew that I should have taken myself to do a meditation, but they woke me up out of my sleep. Like, anyway. So the point is, I went in, I was so angry, but I wasn't angry at them. I was angry at myself for allowing that. But I didn't know that at first. I was just mad. So I'm like sitting in the truck, and then everything was going wrong. It was like the first snowstorm of the year, and it was like icy on the roads. It was cold. My feet were wet, and I was just pissed off. Y'all ever been pissed off before? I was pissed off. And so I'm just sitting, and I'd like had a total breakdown. And I just start bawling and crying in the truck. And I'm just like, this is stupid. I hate this. And then I had to like just sit in silence for a minute. I turned off the radio. And it was just like, you ever have one of those days where like everything goes wrong along the way? It was one of those, like the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth wasn't working, and I ended up having to buy a cord, and it cost like $36 for a charging cord for an iPhone. $36. I was like, are you kidding? From the gas station? Are you kidding me? Then when I tried to go return it, they were like, we don't do returns for this type of thing. So I ended up, anyway, it was like everything was going wrong. So I had to sit there and just ask myself, why are you mad? Well, because they called me in. No. Why are you really mad? Ask yourself, like, why do you feel this way? Why are you really mad? And what I found was that I was mad not because they called me in, but because I felt obligated on my day off. I felt like I didn't have an option, and I put them as a priority opposed to putting my business and myself and my balance, my mental health as a priority, right? That's why I was mad. I allowed them to have control over my emotions, over my actions, right? Okay, so when you get into a high state of emotions, whether if it's anger, frustration, hurt, jealousy, ask yourself, why do I feel this? And then once you know why, so that was A, awareness, right? Then move to E, express in a healthy way. Express how you're feeling. So if someone upset you, or if, someone you feel betrayed you, first understand and understand and overstand why you're feeling betrayed or upset or angry or whatever, jealous. And then once you have that understanding, express your emotions, right? I know a lot of time for men, it's hard to bring words to your emotions. So let's start with that. Let's start with why you're feeling away and answer these questions to yourself, and then deliver that expression to whomever made you feel that way. So if you're in a relationship and your partner did something that you feel like was a betrayal, first get clarity on how you're feeling, the awareness, and then express to them what's going on. And then move into I, indifference. So you are not your emotions. We have to move into a space of understanding that you are not your emotions. So allow the indifference to flow through you and observe the emotions. Like, okay, this happened, it made me feel this way. And release that attachment to your emotional state. Because when you become your emotions, then your emotions are in control. You are no longer in control. Okay? And then O, move to O. So A, awareness. E, express. I, indifference. O, opportunity. What is the opportunity in this situation? What is the opportunity at the end of this tunnel, right? What can I learn from from this situation, or from these emotions, or from this adversity? Ask these questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask. If you steady stuck in, oh, why me? I'm doing everything I should. Why did this happen to me? Oh God, please. Like, you are not doing yourself justice. Let's be proactive about this, and bring awareness to exactly what it is that is making you feel away, and then find out what the opportunity is. Usually when you're faced with friction or you're faced with adversity, it is because this is not your path. Either this is not your path or this is not your time. That's one of the two. It could be your path, but it could be the wrong timing. It could not be your path, but it could be the right timing. So sometimes you have to have something put in front of you in order for you to go around and take another path. It's like a GPS. When you put your destination into a GPS and then there's an accident on the highway, the GPS will reroute you. So the life works the same way. Sometimes you get things put in front of you because this is not your path, right? And you only have a limited amount of vision. The universe, your higher self, spirit, whatever you call it, can see the full picture. You only have a limited amount, like those horses with the blinders on the side, right? You only have a limited amount of vision. So just realize, like, at the end of every adverse situation or any challenge is an opportunity for growth. Seek that opportunity. Change your focus. Change your focus to the opportunity. What can I learn from this? So A, awareness. E, express. I, indifference. O, opportunity. And then U, understand. Understand that your perception of the world is not everyone else's perception of the world. You know, NLP teaches us, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It teaches us that everyone has a unique model of the world. Just because you think that, oh, these are my values and everyone should follow by my values, that's not necessarily true. Let's say you're in a relationship and like that person betrayed you. That person's model of the world is very different than your model of the world. Y'all were raised differently, probably grew up in different places. Your parents have different backgrounds, maybe even different cultures, right? And so all of these things, the environment, all these things play a factor into that person's model of the world. So seek to understand, right? Seek to really like embrace different perspectives. Okay? So AEIOU. When you are presented with a situation that brings you to a high emotional state and you're just angry or frustrated or overwhelmed or anxious, whatever it is, just remember your vowels. Bring awareness. Express yourself in a healthy way. Become indifferent and realize you are not your emotions. And then seek the opportunity in the situation. And finally, understand that everyone's model of the world is different. So how you may perceive something, it may be different for someone else. All right, that is all I got for y'all today. I'm manifesting that y'all took a lot of value from this. Drop some love in the comments if you like this type of content, and I will definitely make some more for you because I love you. All right. Also, if you like this, Sahat and I created a free ebook for you about 7 biggest mistakes after your spiritual awakening. I feel like there are mistakes that you're making unconsciously after your awakening. So what you have to do is just bring awareness to this, and then we also give you some hacks to overcome what those mistakes are. And so number 1 is something literally we all do. So go to 7spiritualmistakes.com. That's the number 7 spiritualmistakes.com and get your free ebook today. All right, I love you guys. Y'all have a beautiful, magical, manifesting day, and I will see you tomorrow for more Rising Rituals with Ray.